Let's go to the Jays. Let's get to the action. Yeah, I made top 64. I think it was like 54th place or something like that. He just kind of made it in under the the line. So this is Yodavite on the Grenadins deck. And then the opponent Jaxiel. Let's go with Jaxiel. Is on the Skycrag aggro deck. There is somebody who actually played a full-on Yeti deck. They did a pretty deep run into the event. This version that Jaxiel is playing is not the Yeti pure deck. It is just, can we get this shit off the screen? Is that possible? No. The shit in the corner. God damn you, Twitch VOD viewer. I hate it. I have pretty much come around to the opinion that Yoda's deck is kind of just bad. I hadn't played the Grenadins deck myself, and everybody who opinions that I trust kept on saying is the deck is just bad. You should just don't think about it. Don't worry about it. It is slower and worse than Scrappy Hour in most ways. So there's just no reason to really think that seriously about it. Take the mouse off the screen. Yeah, I mean it's figured it out now. It's actually not a question of that. I do that all the time, and sometimes that shit just stays on the screen, and sometimes it doesn't because, as I said, the Twitch VOD viewer is very bad. Not having things like plate in this matchup means that you have a lot fewer outs to just win. I watched his stream qualifying. It took a tremendous comeback from him, an 0-4 start for him to get to the top 64. Yeah, I mean, in some respects, I don't quite get what this is really that much better at compared to either the Scrappy Hour deck or the I guess I should probably just play this deck myself a little bit. Downloading Twitch VODs makes stuff like this a lot smoother. Can you download it from other people's streams? Because I know that I can download them from my own stream, but I've never downloaded somebody else's VODs. Because if I did, I think that would help a lot. But Booker, you're much smarter than me, so you would know. But yeah, that game was just a crystal clear. There's nothing really interesting to say from that. It's just other than Yoda didn't really play cards that did very much. It was Jaxel just embarrassed him. And this is the exact matchup that I feel like is part of the reason that you want to be playing the traditional versions of the win chest deck. You have a much better get out of jail free card potential. Not to mention the fact that your power base is going to be, I think, a little bit better because you're not running the Waystones. Yeah, so this kind of feels a little bit desperation-y. Even this play, I'm kind of not crazy about. I guess you could do from Jaxel's side. You can. I personally feel like you double block there on the 4-2. I guess you get the torch out, and then it's that. I'll recheck. I can download the VOD. Let me Twitch change something. Yeah, let me know. Once again, perfectly possible that I'm simply incompetent, but I don't know. And this game, for instance, it really feels like Yoda, the shit that he wants to have in this matchup, and it still was not remotely close. And if you're not fixing your aggro matchup, what are you really fixing? I guess if you're really attacking against the mirror specifically, that's got to be the main incentive. Because I think that your matchup against the mirror is, the mirror is positive, but it is definitely the I don't know. I'm not crazy about the deck after watching it just through this event. And I guess it always feels and looks good because I'm in the Winchester side more often. So I'd be interested in somebody who actually wanted to like defend the deck to me and kind of like explain to me what it's here for. Because I just have never been impressed. Thing that I don't have to skip through very much. Just a couple. Yeah, we're gonna get into a game very, very shortly. Hold on, look at this. We're getting into a game. Borgov versus Costa. M. Costa's deck, man. This is Matt Costa, by the way, who is a known Magic personality. It is very interesting. The Ravids, man, like he is going off. I guess that Ravid does combine reasonably well with his Zindel because it gives you all these flyers that will draw you cards, but just like Jesus, the card is so anemic. I don't get it. Like I think I mean I have to look at his deck more closely because I didn't take a super close look at Costa's deck. It's one that is a little bit it's definitely an unusual build of Xenon, but I just like don't feel like you're gonna get to Ravid that consistently. Like maybe you want a Ravid in the Combrade ramp decks. It's like kind of interesting. Like pairing it with Tulute seems kind of nifty. Makes it really hard to lose the game when you have a bunch of chump blockers. But I guess that's not like really what you're worried about when you have Tulute out, right? I really like this kind of just no block on the temple. It's kind of like, yeah, whatever. This doesn't actually matter. Especially when I have the Azindel. No A space value there. That makes me feel bad. But that's that match. Thank you everyone for checking out the stream. It is lovely to see you all. Did we just get a host? That my viewer number just jumped up by a large amount. I did not see if we got a host. Oh, Lights Out Ace. Oh, thank you very much, buddy. I see it now. Thank you so much. So what we're doing here, by the way, people. So for people who haven't been here for this before, I will actually pause this, assuming that Twitch allows me to pause it, which sometimes it doesn't. So what I actually like to do is to look at the VODs and look at the coverage for the tournaments that happen over the course of the weekend. The reason I like to do this is because it's just interesting to watch the games and to enjoy the coverage of it. But I like to watch through it also for the purposes of saying like, okay, what are the decks that are impressive? Why are they impressive? What are the things that we can learn from this? What are the players that are impressive, et cetera, et cetera. So this is all in operation to try and learn more about the metagame, about the decks that are taking place here, and so that's really what we're doing here. And so if you specifically see things that you want to discuss, like let me know. I can definitely pause it and go back and stuff like that, or you discuss different points. But we are going to just kind of jam through 2 times speed over the DWD VOD here. And we're going to see, of course, isomorphic work Makizo here. And then the next game actually here is one that I watched already, and it's very good. So definitely looking forward to watching this. Okay. Makizo here can play out the... He could have played out the Vara there. I don't know what exactly is in the void. It looks like there's a lot of... Okay, yeah, he can play this out. So now he has Zindel's galore. So he is going to be able to fill up his entire board. So this is all pretty good stuff. But I think that Isomorphic, if he has a Blaster Harbinger as a counter, then he should be able to clean this up fairly well. Yeah, Mikizo draws a bunch. Okay, so this is the one that Mikizo wins. I think they go to a game 3. Yeah, so Sabotage here. But like this is also, I think, some evidence of round 1 Reanimator Mirror. What are the odds? This is round 2, I think. No, round 1. We have a round. This is the round 1. Yeah. So, but I mean, like, I think the mirror is great. I love the mirror. Okay, so we get that. Discard some stuff. Sabotage. Sabotage doesn't do very much here, as you can probably imagine. Very hard to attack on Isomorphic's side. Yeah, I can't get the Render's Choice if you wanted to. Yeah, he sends one of these Sabotages back for the Render's Choice. That's technically on the meta. So yeah, this ends up working out well because you can attack with both of these. I think that you're supposed to also attack with one of the Halessi. I think that they're at least one of these is new. I can't actually no, they're definitely not new because they died last turn. You still have that reanimate the anime value quite yet. This is now we get to resuscitate our back alley delinquent, discard the 2/1, get the Sabotage, take the other grasp out of Isa's hand, draw a bunch of cards deep into that mill plan. Gotta love that. Just draw like 7 cards out of his deck before even going to attack. I fucking love it. I agree. He didn't attack because they were new. You know that they were new for sure. I know it's hard to track. The reason that you know, though, is that there was a Blackstar Harbinger that was played the previous turn from Akizo's side. So one of the Zindles is that Zindle is new. This looks fair and balanced, right, guys? Draw 12 cards off your opponent's deck, all of them going into your void. Looks fine. Okay. We are on to game 3, and I like this match. Okay, so draw 1, you get the Seed of Cunning into the concession. Deck damage, yeah. No, I think that the Reanimator matchup, like oftentimes, just a Scarlet intended. I honestly think that the mill plane is like very real. Especially because it's very hard to actually kill your opponent when you're both playing the Blackstar Harbingers back and forth, and you like they're ending up like when you get to the late game, like the Voro stages of the game. It's not that hard to have like whatever it is like. Over half your deck is you've been moved through because you only need like a couple of the Spore Folk and you've just gone through so much of your deck. But yes, thank you very much for hanging out, everybody. Very happy to have the visitors from Ace's stream. Would really appreciate the follows if you haven't had a chance to do that yet. I'm not sure whether I'm getting the notifications for that though right now, so I will try to check that up check up on that sometime in the very near future. But we are into a game, of course, right now. Spore Folk hit pretty reasonably here. Zindel. Favorable version only working out on what I found is split a VOD into hour chunks. That's annoying. Well, I hear a notification, so at least something's working in that respect. And it sounds like somebody sent me a follow, which I greatly appreciate. Maybe got a couple of them. Are they not actually showing up on the stream? Yeah, they are showing up on the stream. Very nice, very nice. Yeah, I definitely had them on during the podcast. I guess couldn't figure out how to turn them off for that. I don't know why it was so weird. But yeah, thank you very much for the follows, everybody. I knew they were on the entire time. Just trying to get you guys to follow me. Now, the thing that's like really good here is that we have time things from Isomorphic side where he has that back alley delinquent in hand. Now, he doesn't play out here because he's pretty convinced that actually, yeah, he didn't need to do this right here because I don't think that Makizo's deck like Void was good enough quite yet. Actually, no, I think it was already at this point. Yeah, what are we watching? We are watching the ECQ. We're watching on 2x speed and kind of talking through what's going on in it. Enjoyed the shout out too. I mean, you're somebody who's really known for the Blitz deck. Yeah, but Isomorphic has the 2 copies of the Grasping of Shadows though, which basically locks things up. And Makizo just like sees the writing on the wall because he knows how the matchup plays out. That once you are like, you're going to be pretty far behind. Isomorph's going to draw a couple of cards, and when you're just that deep, I think that conceding kind of makes sense. Think that we might be. Yeah, we're going right into another game. Coolio Beans versus Oren B. This one's a little bit strange in how it plays out, if I remember that. See hand into scoop. Yeah, classic. Duress into concede. OMB is really tanking here. You have like a 1 minute delay. As in what? As in like between like when you say something and then when I respond? Yeah. Maybe you're the one who has the lag. Maybe that's the problem. This no use on the Defiance, by the way. 30 seconds of Kate. Brace yourself. Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to get delays below that. So this no display is actually really good. We see later on in the game that I'm pretty sure the opponent, Coolio Beans, has a crunch in the void that already has the berserk bonus on it. So keeping the display around for that is really important. So yeah, we're here at the sabotage there as well. Getting both of these back, I think, is a little bit cautious compared to what you need to be. You can probably attack with the Highwayman there and not be too worried, especially with the Defiance in hand. Because, like, for instance, just a removal spell doesn't get you that far in. But yeah, so right now we get to hit the Defiance on the crunch. And the game should just basically be over right now. I think he uses the... Well, come on, Twitch. Why are you going slowly? Okay, we're fine. I think that I actually would have preferred the... that bonus on the Fortune, on the Vicious Highwayman, the Swear Vengeance, so like give it a revenge, because you're very clearly in kind of a damage race situation. Or, like, I mean, rather, your opponent's almost dead. So, I kind of personally prefer that slightly. This is just a minor quibble, though. I don't think that either of them matters that much. Coolio Beans battling it out to the bitter end. Takes 3 damage. Game over. That should be it, though, I think, for this round. Yeah. Skip ahead to round of 16. I believe. Or no, round of 32. Was that all round 1? Jesus, yeah. Round of 64 was long. Relatively speaking, compared to how most of them go. Most of the rounds are pretty fast. Kamado, my boy. I hate this practice deck. I think it looks terrible. Yeah, I get that a lot. People have heard me for years, never actually seen me, and it's a weird experience. Yeah, Kamado's everybody's boy. He's quite the lad. But yeah, no, I've been streaming now for a couple of weeks. So people are still learning about the fact that this is a thing that happens. Thinking very, very hard about this. And I think that there's a good reason why. There's multiple things here that are pretty interesting. Harsh Rule is very interesting. Plate is very interesting. And the third game in this match is more of a Tomato fan. Absolutely tilt-inducing. Okay, yeah, we'll take a look at that. I remember some creative plays in this one. So we get out a bunch of more Dirtles. Play out the Maiden. Marks Lex side. Then we jam with everything. Kamado's doing the math right now of like, can I survive with kind of different combinations of stuff? Because obviously, you know, he is expecting something like Rally to happen right now, but he's also planning to Harsh Rule next turn. Yeah, the nerf is real. I don't know what he's thinking about because he has to Harsh Rule. He has no way to... I guess that the Vara could have got you to live. Dissociate is not a card that I like. It is just not a good card. Yeah, play out Vara, die to Obliterate. Pretty convincing, and this is how the game matchup is kind of supposed to go. Enjoy the card, the card, and agree it's not good. Yeah. The actual play was Vara. They'll just survive, suit her up. They didn't really have like a ton to... I mean, they had like a couple of cudgels, right? Like one? Like, okay, we can go back to that moment and talk about it. Okay, so... yeah, okay, so this is the moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, especially because you also have, like, the cudgels cost so much. It's really annoying. I mean, yeah, having a deck that is hard to screw up is definitely a plus for many people. What are? So, okay, so here we have 5 on board. If we attack with everything, go up to 6, and then you go down to 2, so you just lose 1 health. So it means you're kind of dead to anything. But I think that the rationale, and like the downside of this, of course, is that if you your opponent has a Merchant in hand and can get the Mind Fire, then you're dead. And just on the spot, like the game's over. Also, an Obelisk ends the game immediately as well. Rally ends the game as well. Torch ends the game one way or another. Don't know this deck list well enough to know exactly all the things that like what plays around what. So I think that there's and I think that that's the other thing that I was going to mention is that either the Harsh Rule, like you have a Harsh Rule in your hand, you have a Vara in your hand. You can play Vara, like Harsh Rule into Vara, but Vara into Harsh Rule is much less effective. I honestly think that were the Cudgel to cost 1 as opposed to 3, that might set me over the edge, personally. Because then you get to gain 5 as opposed to 3. Assuming that because then you're just dead to Mindfire. Basically. Right? No, I guess you're still dead to Rally. You survive... because you take 1, 2... You might still be dead to Obelisk, too, now that I think about it. Yeah, Teacher's a great card. This isn't that long, so we can just power through watching this again. I mean, I think the change to Teacher was a really good change. A TSF deck, Time, Shadow, Fire, like a mid-range deck. Because it seems okay. Every version of that I've seen, I haven't exactly been impressed with. I'll be honest, but I mean, I always feel like there's something there that is like could be good. I think that it's fine as it is. I like the idea of keeping people honest. I mean, Teacher is the exact kind of card that does a good job of trying to keep Reanimator honest, as an example. Like, the card is obviously not great at getting anything against Reanimator, but it's fine. And definitely puts them under, like forces them to have like this Suffocate and spend some power to address it. This keep, by the way, for Markslax, I'm going to just straight out say I find it really hard to believe that this is right. You disagree with 1, as in like 1 for the cost of the tax effect on the 1 is too weak for the Teacher too. I agree. So you can put it as like 1 for all of the cards that you draw, not extra cards that you draw, if you want to just like simplify it for some reason. But I think that might be not quite as good. Are they on the play or on the draw? They are on the draw. I think that this hand is way too slow to be on the draw. And on the play, I could kind of see it. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to hit my first 4 power. That's pretty good because that can sometimes be an issue with these decks, I guess. Being on the play with a Trailmaker is kind of appealing because maybe you can do something fun with that. But being on the draw, the Trailmaker is much less sexy, much less impressive. Going to 1 isn't weak. Adding a power to cards is enough to kill when they enter. I mean, it's definitely not nothing. I think the card would still see play, Booker. I just think that it's doesn't quite do enough. Yeah, this is really slow on the draw. And especially I think that this is a kind of deck that can go to 6 cards like reasonably well. Like you can cast your shit like relatively easily. Obviously you often do have to like spend all your cards to actually win the game. But yeah, I don't know. But can tokens play a slow game? I mean, I just don't think that this is like this particular matchup too. I think that it's not going to the vault, right? They do run Heart of the Vault. I should look that up. I'm not actually sure. Dear Twitch, can you stop sucking for like half a fucking second? I would appreciate it. I'm just gonna trash this whole fucking night. I'm so tilted by it. Like when I press pause, like it just doesn't seem that hard to me to like guess what I want. Yeah, I think I've made my wishes pretty clear. And they're just like, no, let's keep on playing for another like 5 seconds to just mess with you. It's like, no, just stop. Just be done. It's so hard to find the decks because you can't search them in this Google document. Get to enjoy my awkward singing as I scroll through this giant awkward thing. Dead last in it. Cool. Makes it really easy to find. They are playing 0 copies. I repeat, 0 copies of Heart of the Vault in this deck. This deck is Greater than Drone, Initiative Sands, Torch Dissociate, Use Your Humility, Temple Scribe, Trail Maker, Amaran Stinger, Assembly Line, Nixon Merchant, Rally, Siculus, Obelisk, Obliterate. And a Flame Stoker in the market for value. just clip like crazy, man. Just go for it. You're asking a lot from Twitch. Having a usable thing. 0 copies of Heart of the Vault. This is not a mid-range check. No. This is full on aggro. Yeah. This is took your Praxis Small Boys. Yeah, I definitely don't think that you can keep this, and especially like you have things like Siculus too. Like that is such a baller card to have access to, even on a mulligan. So I just don't think that it's appropriate to keep a hand like this, and especially because if your Trailmaker gets killed, which it's fucking going to, your hand will just do nothing. Just concede now. Like, we're done here. Don't sit and waste anybody's time. Let's move on. Take the L, Mark Slack. Take the L. No, I mean, I don't blame him for playing it out. You're supposed to play it out. Like, there's nothing wrong playing it out. But, yeah. I mean, I appreciate a man who builds his deck in a way where he has, like, a plan. Like, I'm going to kill you. I'm all in on this plan. By the way, when Kamado is using his free torches on, like, scribes and shit, you know that things are going bad. His hand is gasoline. I love this next play. This is the whole, like, I'm not desperate type play of, like, on steroids. I love it. Did he play a power there? Okay, why did he play this power? Well, like, we'll come back to this question at the end of the turn. Oh, there's a power left up there. You know, good thing that there isn't a mechanic in the game that is incredibly powerful that requires spare cards, like, hanging around. Good thing that something like that doesn't exist. Radiant's Tomb. Lingering Influence. God, like, wealth of things. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't actually draw the merchant, but I thought that he did for some reason, but yeah. Tight play. I mean, at that point, I wouldn't be surprised if he just kind of mentally checked out of the game. Like, I don't blame anybody for doing that. Obviously, it was not going well. But, yeah. Punt. No, this one tells you a lot. Should we slow it down? Let's go to 1.5 times speed, just to get a little bit more tilts per minute out of this. Okay. So Kamado wearing 1 set of weights. Gonna be playing out a Statuary Maiden here. Mark Slacks has an opportunity to play out his merchant and then mind fire the 2/4 in order to get another weights onto Kamado and get him down to 16. This is a bit of a weird play. Really evaluate that extra taxing effect, but could be correct. And it looks like he goes for it. Yep. Mind fire. Oh, it doesn't actually go for here. We'll wait for the next turn. Because now you can do it with the Martin Stinger. Now, in this situation, it's actually possible, like, if you don't sacrifice, you get in a lot of extra damage if you're attack with everything and then rally. The problem is that by giving your opponent the cudgels, like, I mean, it's a really valuable resource in this matchup. I guess he already has one set of weights on him, so it doesn't matter a ton. Now, it would have been... How much damage would it have been? So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so it was, okay, 9, 10, 8. So it would have been like a little bit off lethal with both the Mind Fire and the rally. I feel like this is a game where that's a really tempting setup to line up, but you're also under a really serious clock because you have things like Rizon are going to be coming very soon as well. It's fine, I guess. I haven't seen anything so far that's like egregious. Rizon comes down, hitting the 3/2 there is definitely correct. That is a 5 cost +2/+2 weapon, in case you aren't paying attention. Okay. So we had the opportunity to obelisk here in order to grow up all of our ladies and gentlemen into... These are all actually all ladies right now that are in play. Grow up our ladies into more sizable threats. It does order things correctly to play out the scribe first. Attacks in to set up the trades against the 2/4 and the 5/4. The question is whether or not he decides to kill the maiden or the Vara. Decides to go for the Vara. Rizon nerf really matter here. I mean, the Rizon nerf it really matters. Now, the decision to keep the maiden around is a little bit suspect to me. I guess that having the Vara grow out of control with the overpriced cudgels is still a concern because you just need to get them dead. But BT dubs, the way in which Quarry and the Scorpion Trap work is not the way that you want it to. Okay. So we are in a position right now where Mark Slacks is setting up for a big fat rally, but instead decides to attack in with everything preemptively. This is a bit of a weird play. Gets 6 damage in, trades twice. Feels like he would have had a pretty good chance of having lethal next turn had he just waited. I mean, wait, it's... Okay, that's right. Stop. Let's take a look at that. It looks a lot like lethal if they waited. Well, that's too far back. Okay, let's just start here again. We'll pause it, or try to pause. We'll attempt to pause it when we actually get to that same juncture. Because like it's also something like your opponent is wearing 2 sets of weight. It's really hard for them to function and actually deploy very much. Yeah, like the Rizon still isn't active, so a Rizon play is not going to blow you out like a ton. Looks like we got another follow. Thank you very much, or whoever that was. So, some beautiful, amazing, spectacularly talented human being. Probo Historia. Thank you very much. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. Up to almost 200 followers. Very cool. Well, by the way, that is a 4-cost defiance. That doesn't come up too often, having a 4-cost defiance. I love it. Okay. So, yeah, so this is the turn. We can play out the scribe, we play out the trail maker. This ordering to actually no, we want to do this ordering because we want to power up the obelisk. I wonder how many spells were in the void at the time the Rizon died. Yeah, it's hard to tell. I wish I could check. We'll never know. Okay, so right now we have in play with the rally. Let's see if we can go to next turn. Kamado does nothing. Obviously unlikely, but we're doing this for the purposes of damage calculations. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So he blocks those two, the 2 forward attack units. So it's the 3/3/3s that are all have +2/+2. Definitely not lethal with Vank in Defiance, but still like non-attack. Yeah, I mean, it's very hard to play around what's in Kamado's hand because he has like a fuck ton of cards. Clearly, like, I mean, we know that a lot of them are overcosted right now, but we don't know exactly how many of them. We know that he has a lot of cudgels in hand too, which are not particularly castable. So, like, half the hand probably is like kind of just duds. Yeah, I mean, I think that like they have to have a Rizon. It has to be one that he drew naturally, so that it costs 6. Yeah, I think that it's correct to wait because it would be 15 damage exactly next turn with just 2 blockers. I guess that it's pretty hard. You kind of have to draw something next turn, assuming that he interacts with your board at all, and you should assume that something is going to die. But at the same time, like, making this attack, trading with it, the kind of you're in a similar position next turn anyway. Like, what can he play that really blows you out? That just naturally occurs in his deck. Other than I guess Rizon is the only one that just jumps out to me. Rizon, kill the Trailmaker, and that functionally acts as 2 pieces of removal. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that. But also, like, taking you off of 8 is not the end of the world, since you can just find another power. Yeah, this is one that I think is a little bit, like. Also, yeah, you do clear out the maidens, which is kind of appealing, I guess. I'm not sure. The maidens don't really matter a ton at this point because they're kind of just 4/2s. Or 2/4s, rather. Deadly 2/4s. Since, like, the cudgels just don't matter, since they're just a ridiculous position of it. And then, yeah, so we get this. 4-cost Defiance kills the Trail Maker, sending the innocent little the Temple Scribe back down to a 3/3. I love that. That was the best 4-cost Defiance I had ever seen by a country mile. Plate is excellent here. That 3-cost there. Plate, a cudgel is also going to do work. We get to plate up our Deuter. Attack in for a bunch. Started getting some life from Kamado's side at 9 cost. 9 cost plate. Still very good here. Fucking love it. Right Canyon Smuggler. kind of tempting. Gives you some access. Play was perfect. I mean, this is part of the reason like people who cut play, I just like don't understand it. It just gets you out of these situations that the way that no other card does. Like even something like like Harsh Rule here, it costs the same amount. It does not do nearly as much because you need to get your life to look up. So it's interesting to get behind the why of Mark Slack's plays. Yeah, I'm trying like. There's some interesting stuff here, for sure. Yeah, especially since you're kind of not under a ton of pressure just yet. There's a big appeal to me of waiting for a smidge. Also, like for instance, how you waited until this 3-2. I guess it would have been a 4-5 at that point. 4-5 light steal, which is annoying. I don't know. Here things kind of go off the rails a little bit though. For Mark Slacks. Kamado continues. Not this no attack, by the way. I think was just straight up punt. Like there can be described in no other way than being a punt in my mind. Now we do have the opportunity here from Mark Slack's side to play out the Merchant, then swap our Initiate for the Boar. The no attack was a misclick in my opinion. Yeah, I would guess so. Or just like brain fart. I mean that happens too. I don't think that it was intentional. Get all the way down to bite size once again. The Red Canyon Merchant going to get in front of that there Grenadin. I think that if he was playing around Torch, then that's definitely wrong. I think that would be stupid to play around Torch in that situation. Because you just want to gain life. Not to mention the fact that you plague with him, right? Yeah, exactly. You go to 25 or whatever it is. Some outrageous amount of health, and like the game is over at that point. Since you still have cards in your hand and your opponent doesn't. As Winchest Contraband is going to give us something that costs like a bajillion. Oh, right. I love this. Martial Ironthorn for 9. Offsets that waits action. Rizon, kill that. We did it. This battle back from Kamado, it was just classy. Absolutely amazing. What a sick pull. Yeah, no, it's great. Like, I think that Kamado played this game quite well. I don't know if there was very much that Mark Slacks could have done. Honestly, it was a I can see why this would have been something because it's just so close to being a game win. I mean, I don't like it's tilting in the sense of like, especially if you're an aggro player and you're just like, just kill him, do it, do it for the Fire Nation. Like that's going to be hard to watch, but it's definitely Kamado played really tight, and it wasn't like a question of Kamado like other than the misclick. I think then I do feel bad for Mark Slacks there. That's rough. Hey man, that's what you get for not playing Heart of the Vault. Playing Heart of the Vault, none of this would have happened. Don't know why, but wouldn't. Now we get Thalion against Zach Hill. I think that it's a pretty good chance that it could have cost him. I mean, that one is definitely debatable because you could imagine the game kind of working out a few different ways from that position. It's very hard in my mind to do a conclusive argument one way or another. If I had to bet, I'd say it was wrong. Like I don't think that I would like being in that same position, kind of thinking about how we could play it a different way, I don't think that I would have taken it. It was really, it's definitely hard though. Yeah, punt is not how I would describe it. It was a strategic choice that ended up poorly, and I think was going to slightly more often than not work out poorly for him, if that makes sense. Yetis are fun. How can you ever be sad when you're hanging out with Yetis? That's my question. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, ZDCH is Zach Hill, who is a former game designer for Wizards of the Coast. He did work on Magic for a little while. He was involved in the last Ravnica set. The reason that I remember that so clearly is because he was involved in casting the first Pro Tour that I ever watched. And so he was kind of, and it was the one that Craig Wesko won with Selesnya, the Block Pro Tour. And it was kind of there that I sort of fell in love with card games. So like Zach Hill is gas. I mean, like I haven't really followed him very closely. He didn't stay at Wizards of the Coast. I don't know exactly what he's doing now or where he went afterwards. I don't know. You can find him on Twitter. He's active on. I learned that this was him from Twitter, so you can his tag is ZDCH. But yeah, like it's just kind of like this funny thing that I was like, oh shit, I didn't know. I kind of knew that he was playing. So yeah. Now I'm not going to talk about his deck though because I could trash his deck. I think his deck is really bad. Which is fine. There's some like if you guys haven't gone and checked this plays like one copy of the Derry Kython or whatever his name is, which I would love to hear an argument, a convincing argument, in of why you're supposed to play that exactly. But whatever, you do you. I think that. Help me a random fire during a reflecting pool standard. Yeah, that would be a lot of fun there. But he seems like a really nice guy. I think that he's kind of in this like small way informed my card gaming career. Wisdom in a world of Ox is very strange. I don't know what that means, but it sounds like a wise saying, Lodar. Mortar to the face. Oh, show. Yes. Right. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, Zach Hill. It's just interesting for me because like that Pro Tour, watching that Pro Tour made like a big impact on me because as like I built the Celestia token stack shortly thereafter, down close to stabilizing, but not quite enough. Yeah, I mean the card is very, very good. It's Ox the Dragon. Good old show the Ox. Oxy show. But it's good to have him as part of the Eternal community. Display of ambition, because they could let us continue playing this card for some reason. Also, you notice that Stogelfish here has a Martyr's Chains in play, which is a very good card to have in play. That's told by my people, yeah. Yeah, it is the saying of my people. You can tell that this game has gone on a long time when you're bringing back multiple shows, one of which has negative on attack for some reason. I think the Avagraft is trash. I think it's so bad. I can barely tolerate it as a one of in the market. Other than that, I think that it's like even that is a borderline application. So I don't know. I personally can't remember the last time I played the card. It's like I think that I played it like once or twice since the nerf. Like, yeah, especially in Winchester too. Like you've got no shortage of lit removal cards. It's not great right now, especially like your market is so taxed. When you're playing Winchester right now, like now that Reanimator is a thing, like you have to look at those runs a pair in his temporal control. I mean, you're allowed to do that, I guess. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it doesn't seem good in that deck, especially given the fact that it doesn't you know you get casted on your temporal turn, so that's not great. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's fine. It's not going to be that bad. That is the thing you can legally do. Yes, that is the way that I describe it. That is a card choice that is allowed. You are allowed to make. That is definitely a card you can play in the game. Yeah. I need to find a way to turn that into an emote somehow, because I have my one emote slot from my affiliate status. It locks people out of playing things. Not a fan of. Yeah, I mean, I think that you need to have some amount of that gray mass, like, as it does. It's useful to have a variety of ways in which to push people off of certain kinds of strategies and counter different things. Like, I think that having counter tools is a useful thing to have. I'm gonna rant on this. Yeah, this is all Graymus' fault, guys. You blame him. If you don't like this. So the thing is that in the churn of the game, what you need to be able to have is like for instance, we all remember our first encounter with Sandstorm Titan, right? So you when you first see it, you're like, wow, this card is bullshit. This is just a pay to win card. But bajillion stats, I can never attack through it. What the fuck? I didn't know when it cost a 3. Yeah, 3 was a bit much. But I'm just like talking about the effect in general of kind of like addressing like the more like core element of the criticism, which I think is fair. But I'll rant on this. So it's the idea that like it's like you have that experience. You see Sandstorm Titan shitting on you, and you're like you're playing your Rakano deck, and you're like, damn, this thing is it's so hard to attack through. It's so annoying. Like, yeah, I can vanquish it, but what if they just like recur it, with a dark return, or they just play another one? It's just so annoying. Avacraft gives me a way to be like, oh, I've cracked this now. I can mark it for Avacraft, or I can draw the Avacraft naturally. I kill the Titan, and it's never coming back. So I've identified a problem card for myself, and then I've solved that problem. So it actually feels like an exciting, interesting part of deck building. It also has the effect of creating churn in what you can and cannot play. So it makes flying units better. So you'll see this adjustment of saying like, okay, well, Avacraft is popular, so now we play more flying units. Then the response to this is like, well, there's a lot of flying units, so then something like Titan becomes more popular. And then when you have lots of things like Titan that become popular, then you can respond to that things with stuff like Avacraft as a way to build up against that. And that's that kind of balance, rock paper scissors action is always going to be happening in the metagame in some subtle way. And as a result, it does help to create a bit of forward momentum, or at least feel forward momentum in the metagame, even when it's not like big massive things where everyone's like, oh, this is the week of the Avacraft decks, and so next week might be the Titan deck week or whatever it is. Like, it's not gonna be quite like that dramatic, but it will still at the very least like make decks feel a little bit different from week to week. So it does a lot of things well for it. The issue is that like once you have a certain threshold of power level to it, it just kind of like tips over and becomes obnoxious because it's just sitting on too much stuff and too hard. And I think that 3-cost Avacraft was definitely guilty of that. You obviously would want to have it at something like 3.5 cost. That's just obviously not realistic, though. You could, I guess, have it at like 3JJJ, but I don't know. We'll go with that's my rant, though. That's my rant. We did it. Going into this mirror, you buckle in, ladies and gent. JJJJJJ, yeah, just jam. Quality rant. Thank you very much, Barefoot Farmer. I appreciate it. Yeah. What could possibly go wrong? I like that one. Yeah. Kamado alone can play it. He needs the help, obviously. You know, been struggling as a player in the game. Yeah, we basically right now we're nothing particularly exciting going on here. Just going to be kind of exchanging tunes and all of that sort of business. You can see them both trying to do the math in their minds. Like, okay, what do they have? What am I worried about? What should I be playing around? This play from Maddox pretty decent because you can kill Yavora, hold the torch to kill the merchant here. I definitely wouldn't have taken that hit though. This game of trigger chat pretty hard. Why is that? I watched a bit pieces of it, so I didn't watch the whole thing necessarily. Lost scroll. That's a weird use of lost scroll. I mean, I guess it's fine. Oh, so much complain about FGS, yeah. I mean, FGS right now is like, if those are your problems are, then you're playing a very different game than I am. The chat in general was like, oh, Winchester, too good. Nerf it again. Oh, Reanimator. It's too good. Nerf it again. Oh, Genev. My rendition of chat. It's more of my Reddit impression, less my Twitch chat impression, to be frank. Misplays FGO's Howling Peak marketing. Yeah. Yes. Nerf everything until Combra's the best, then nerf for Kana. As Chapin said. As the wisest of Chapins once said. Cockroaches, not Oh, yeah. How dare I? How apocryphal of me. Stogovic is about to have a very big boy with revenge. I'm not even sure whether Maddock has the what's it called, like the Vanquish, for instance, in his deck. Your market in FJS is so taxed. There's just so much stuff that you want to play. Where do we have? Talk. Boar, Avagraft, Tomb. Yeah, I mean, in some respects, this is kind of Maddox's fault because he's playing Avagraft, which is a bad card compared to the Vanquish, which he could have played there, and that would have made a huge difference in this game. Like, market composition matters a ton. It makes a huge difference in these games. He's also playing Boar in his market when he's still playing the 4 Hidden Road Smugglers. Yeah, just when in doubt, always nerf Rakano. You're bored that day? Nerf Rakano. A little bit hungry? Why not nerf Rakano? Feeling like mixing it up, going for a walk, maybe? Getting involved in some physical exercise? Just, nerf Rakano. Yeah, this change is not going to get you out of the problems that you're about to experience here. Like, you are way too far behind for that to matter. That's fun there, Laura. I look at with things like there's a lot you could do with that kind of nonsense with the Messenger Hawks, etc. One of these days I'm going to break Messenger Hawk. Don't know which day that is. Probably not going to be for a good long time, but one of these days. Silverwing Familiar decks, those were the days. Yeah. I mean, you can grab a Snakers and nerf Rakano. Kipo indeed. How are we doing in the top 32? I think we might be going to break soon. Yeah, we're just going to skip over that. Come on, Twitch. We did it. We're still at 1.5 times speed. Let's go back to 2. I want to go to that 1.5. Hoping there was going to be a bunch of tilting misplays in that Praxis match. Stone Scar Scrappy. Like, Scrappy Hour. Come on. Like there's a very well-established name for this deck, and it's Scrappy Hour. I don't know why we're... Come on here. Into the game, your dad's best friend versus GT100. Spoiler alert, GT100 does go on to win the entire shebang. And your dad's best friend, I'm sorry to break it to you, but your dad's best friend is playing a bad deck. I don't like this deck. Now, he does have like a million resources in hand compared to GT's like very little. By the way, this play right here for the Justice Sigil was a bit of a weird one. I guess you really want access to that harsh rule, I suppose. Is that the reasoning why? I mean, I guess. You bring back Camel's Control. Oh man, Camel's Control. It was good. Don't say that too loudly. RNG might hear you. And the Madness package, yeah, I don't think that it makes a ton of sense in this deck. It feels a little bit too clunky. I also really dislike that harsh rule, so I should take a look at that. No, that's a little bit too far. Okay, so we're... come on. Oh, that's still... Let's go here. I hate you, Twitch. Oh, we'll just go through all of this. Now, the Madness composed against this deck is very good. It's just incredible in this mirror, pseudo mirror. Draw some cards, devour your dude, play out of power, pass the turn. Okay, yeah, so we get the gear cruncher here. Now, the things we can do here is like slay the 3/4. The 3/4 is like literally the best. So there's 2 units in their deck that are actually good to kill. I suppose there's Gear Cruncher, and then there's Scrapper. So you don't really get much better slay targets than this. So you can do something like slay the 3/4, play out the assembly line, play your crest, and then I mean, like obviously you wouldn't use this exact order, but you understand what I'm talking about. And then you are in a pretty good shape. Alternatively, you could even combust and then do both the assembly line plus end of turn display of ambition in order to bring back some stuff. Because the thing is that your opponent's board, like when you have that assembly line out, you can do like you're doing a reasonable job of diffusing it. So you can buy yourself a little bit like an extra turn, for example, where your opponent really can't play something else out. Otherwise, you're going to blow them up with the harsh rule. So I kind of like at least waiting one more turn on the harsh rule personally. This might be a bit nitpicky, but I honestly do think that this is bad. And it's like one of the few ways you can actually lose this game. Because you do that and your opponent just draws better than you. Or they have like multiple of the witching hours in hand, because it's entirely possible for them to have 2 witching hours in hand at that point. Luckily for your dad's best friend, he only had the one. Slaying the flying horse in that juncture was really good. What they knew. I mean, you're playing against a deck that like he's had a couple cards in hand for multiple turns. His opponent is like playing, like they're playing the witching hour. I don't know. I'm personally not a big fan of it. It's gonna be fine because GT just kind of draws kind of poorly. I think that you have stuff like the show and like other. Wait, didn't they say Jim the previous zone? Yeah, it's Gary now. Yeah, Gary. Yeah, it's Jim Gary, like that kind of stuff. I love that. I think it's in some of the different games they might change the name. We'll see. Uncle Johnny. Larry. Otto. But yeah, I think that the harsh rule wasn't like horrible. Don't get me wrong. I think that I would prefer not pulling it on the trigger on the instance, but it's fine. I would just prefer not to do it. Scrapper is a hell of a card, though. Jesus the Christ. I honestly kind of like the idea of playing out the other Scrapper there just to maximize life gain, because I think that the way in which you lose the game more focuses on kind of getting burned out somehow. I guess maybe you just want to get the show out to actually end the game. Or, yeah, that too. That works as well. Oh yeah, it's 100% Scrapper is the reason to play the. Yeah, it's incredible in this deck. No question. It's the reason to play the deck. You get to play that card and nobody else does. Like, drawing 2 cards a turn for 1 cost is not remotely fair. Sometimes it's still not good enough, but you know what I'm saying. But at the end of the state of the game, even with a scrapper can't really dig you out of it. Especially given the fact that your opponent also has a scrapper. I just want to get double F game value. That's all I want. Like all I'm watching this game, I'm just like, man, I could have had double scrapper in play for several turns now and gain 1,000,000 life and being just you feel super fancy about myself. You're giving up great opportunities to gain extra life there. Your dads or friends just leaving value on the table. Still won easily that game from the position that we started at, but you know. How are we doing on time? We're about halfway through. This is such a long gasp, relatively. I mean, they did do it into the top 64, so that also means that took longer. But we're making it through. Yeah, I wish I could see everybody's games there Stormblessed. That'd be sweet. You know, I mean, I love them all. I was watching a little bit of what you had. I can't remember the details now about everything that was going on in your games. But I look forward to that. Which round is it that you're on camera? Do you know? I'm trying to remember your deck. They know that you were in the top, whatever. This game is actually very boring because I think that just basically what happens is your dad's best friend kind of stalls. Stormblessed. Oh yeah, you're playing the Xenon deck. Right. Top 8 and top 4. So you were one of the ones who lost in the semifinals, barely missing the invite. I mean, I said that in the way that kind of rubs in the bad feels as worse as possible. So now I feel extra bad about this. But yeah, I think this is what happened. Sorry to hear that. But congrats on the good finish nonetheless. Yeah, I mean, I think that the isomorphic. I mean, I love the isomorphic deck. I've been pretty, transparent about the fact that I'm a big fan of that deck. So, and I think that a lot of the games that it's involved in, either they're total blowouts, which is kind of fun to watch for a bit, but then the ones that are not total blowouts are very interesting. As I said, Dad's best friend stalls in power and dies. Yeah, it's coming back to me now. I think there are some weird plays that I'd be interested to watch it while you're around because there's definitely some interesting decisions there if I remember uh, correctly. I love the chutzpah of just cut ties to your grenadine. Fucking taste it. You didn't come here to play around. You got a 1-1? Fuck you. Dead. I mean, we kind of all wish that everybody could win somehow, because, you know, it's nice. I love this plays. I love, like, every time this happens of shoot something with a life, a steel, your cruncher just makes me happy. So this game isn't quite as much of a blowout as I had remembered it as being, because there's a lot of I'm the only one allowed to have one once. Yeah, exactly. This will teach you for trying to be the Grandmaster. I am the one true Grandmaster. That seems like a bit of a oversight there. Stormblast feels like an important card in these matchups. I don't know. I generally find that when I'm playing Xenon, it's a card that I like to be mindful of. I mean, I always say this, though, whenever I'm reviewing games like this, I don't really mean to shit on the players, because, like, it's a long day. There's a lot of pressure. Like, even with something like, you know, ETS, like round 5 and you're on camera, round 4 and you're on camera, like, that can sometimes be a lot of pressure for somebody, because people aren't used to it, and as a result you can just make kind of dumb plays, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I totally understand how that happens. This was such a bad play. This from GT 10 you talking about? Yeah. Make it shorter. I don't. Oh no, from Gary. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I mean, I'm just saying that, like, in that sense, Stormblast is that, like, when you're into a long event like this one too, like you've been playing all day, it's pretty easy to overlook something like that. Gain 10 life. Yeah. Ooh. I love that site. Yeah, Diesel's office is way better than I thought it was initially. Your dad's best friend is out of that game. How many sides were you playing? Stormblast. So I'm gonna do a count. Um, 4 temples, 2 office, 3 praxis arcanum. I have a hard time believing that that is correct. That is a lot of sites. Yeah, it's really cool to always to have that happen. I mean, obviously, like, I've experienced, like, similar things with similar with other decks, of course, and it's always a blast. It's very, very rewarding and interesting. Um, yeah, it's fun, but still, man, 9 sites. You really think that you need a 9? It's a lot. Praxis Arcanum too, man. I don't. That is one that you're gonna. I'm interested if you can sell me on that card. I would be very interested to see if you could sell me on that card. It is dope. Please describe. Give us a convincing argument on the dopeness of Arcanum. It seems really bad to me as the issue, like especially when I play against it. Like it does not like it, I played against the card a number of times, and every single time I'm like, wow, this didn't do a ton. It turns non-units into actual units. Oh, okay. So why don't you just play the fucking Lumen Defender? Right? I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'll play the deck. I'll play the deck at some point. How about this? I promise I will play the deck at some point this week in order to really test it, because I will admit that I have not seriously tested it myself. Witching Hour, guys. Card is fucked up. I love this card. It's a great card. GT100 left the chat. I didn't see that he was around. Yeah, he was very close to death here. And from this position, there's just no way for him to lose, basically. Oh, of course I remember Witching Hour back in the day. I remember nothing but Witching Hour back in the day. That's my only memory. I mean, Deezer's office is just like pretty obvious. I never actually played that far back Wodar. That was right before I started. That the excavate change, either that or I just wasn't aware of it when it happened, because it was just right when I was starting. For those of you who don't know, excavate used to have the text, you gained life equal to the cost of the spell. So people would use, whatever it was, like Harold's Song, to discard the Witching Hour and then excavate it back. We were missing out. It is the there's only a couple of balance changes that I missed out on. There was that one. Then I was never around for Obelisk at 3. Yeah, how did Reanimator lose game 1? That's also my response. How does Reanimator, like, that matchup seems very good for Reanimator. I mean, obviously, Reanimator just has games where its draw doesn't really function. Yeah, I mean, part of the issue is that, like, some of the early deck builders were absolute shit, Lodar. Like, I don't, you probably think back to it, but, like, I was one of the ones who was responsible for, like, discovering Queen. It was this, like, weird series of events where I was like I was very bad at deck building back in the day. So I was just, like, beginning to learn, but I was like people weren't playing Stone Scar aggro that much, and I was like going through the card file, and I said, like, this, like, Queen card seems like okay, I should try it out. And like test it in a few decks, and it seemed really good. My decks were like, the rest of the deck was just horribly wrong. Like, there was like tons of mistakes in the rest of the build of the deck. But I had Queen in the deck, and I kept on telling people, like, I think that this Queen card is really, really good. And a lot of other people, like, Bam or whoever, was just like, nah, it's no good, don't play it. And then Exastra was the one who actually, like, built the deck. Like, even his build of the deck was shit, relatively speaking. But it was much, much better than what I had, and started killing people with it. and the rest is history. So I like helped discover the deck, the card, but I mean, like that's obviously not a particularly meaningful contribution when it was just like sitting there waiting for somebody to read the fucking text. Yeah, I mean, like clearly, there's a range of what Reanimator can do. So like those games where it kind of just like they're playing like a fair plus game, like they're doing a little bit more than what you can normally do, but they're investing a lot of resources into doing it. Like those are the ones where you can win. But the like obviously the ones where they just like go off, like those ones are unwinnable. That was such a stupid, strong thing to do. What are you talking about? What are? Oh, remember when back in the day when Madness wasn't stable? Oh yeah. I got. I remember that. That was like. That was also my first podcast episode. Basically, it was like talking about that with Pepper. Turn right, you grab both games at the time. seems difficult. Seems like a tough matchup there, Bear. Yeah, you used to keep the unit. I would suggest to go back and listen to my first episode of the Eternal Cast, but the audio quality is such trash that I'm not going to even advise it. I love in these positions where the aggro deck is so fucking dead, but they just play on like a Valiant soldier. Like, look at Thalion. Just wants it. Just is like working hard for every point of damage, clearing those blockers. You know, he wants it. Opponent's still at 16, and he's going to die horribly over the next couple turns. But, you know, he put in the good college try. Yeah, no, it's a brutal position. I do love it when you see them. They're just like, oh god, maybe if I get them down to 13, then they attack. I can set up lethal if I draw 3 perfects in a row, ish. Yeah, I mean, I concede early in like part of my thing with like ladder games specifically is depending on the nature of the game, it's something that's like, okay, well, I save whatever it is, like a minute or two on this, then and I'm probably going to lose. Then I will move on to the next game and sorry, it kind of maximizes my laddering experience. So I definitely also it's once you're getting into one specific deck like deeper and deeper, like you can begin to see lines like a lot differently. There's a lot more lines that basically seem to become available to you. You can consider early versus a temporal control because I don't hate myself. Yeah, I can see that one. Respect that. These draws from Julius, by the way, are very good. I don't think that the Julius's deck has a particularly good aggro matchup, but the particular combinations of draws that he gets here are really backbreaking. Thalion does his best job though. He really tries. Torch, get him. I love the Bok addition to these decks, by the way. Oh yeah, I think I played against Julius in the Swiss rounds. I can't remember what happened though. I mean, like part of it right now, Grimace, though, is that just like control is a whole macro archetype feels kind of unplayable. Like the things like sites or whatever, like it just is so unbelievably punishing to anybody who's trying to be super reactive. We get a wump down, wump sighting. Yeah, I mean, I don't miss days of temporal being like, oh, really, Storm? We didn't know. It was hard to guess. It was a difficult call. Oh, we actually did get the lead there, yeah. Moving on to game 3. Is that actually the end of the game? What happened here? Did we actually win? Oh shit! Oh no! Yeah, we got lethal. We got lethal. The Wump did it, of course. I was paying attention to life totals there, and I was like, "Really? We're done the match?" But this is I remember this happening now. That it was like there's this like weird pause thing because they're like 1-1, and then they go into a break, and then they go back for a third game randomly. It was very strange. Yeah, I think that and like relics are supposed to be that twiddles, I think. There are some cards obviously in that control has access to that does that job. So I don't know whether that makes sense. Loadar. Oh, we get a bad deck here. Oh, that is. Oh, why are we paused? I don't want to be paused. Are we paused? No, we're not paused. Let's look at this though. For those of you who, yeah, I'll just post it here. So you can take a look at it. Okay, so yeah, Racano Artisan, Crown Watch Paladin, War Helm, Elder's Feather. That was back when Elder's Feather was probably a 1-1. One Ikaria, Deep Forge Plate, Rise to the Challenge. Yeah, buddy. Oh, Navani. That's a classic one. 3 Seek Power, and I'm just gonna guess. 25 power because that's just how he rolled. So 9 sigils. Then we have 12 seats and 4 banners. So yeah, that's a perfect 25. Interesting. Yeah, I don't really see it. I don't feel like that was a great call. By the way, we actually did have sideboards then in our competitive play. There was a time. 4 power play. Those were the fucking days, boys. Those are the fucking days. Killed people. People died. To those plates. God almighty. Those silver wings. Those birds. I actually had like in my mind for a bit like the idea of doing so like I had like a variety of like merch ideas like stuff that would be really cool to put on shirts or whatever. One of them would during the party hour meta oh, this is post nerf during the party hour meta would be like like a table in a bar with a bunch of like yetis like hanging around getting drunk with the four horsemen of the apocalypse, and then just like the champion of cunning like standing back in the the corner looking like brooding and angry or something like that. That was my like idea. That if you had a good artist for it, I think that it could be a lot of fun for it. By the way, this is a game of Thalion getting dumpstered by cards that are good. Yeah, I think this one ends. So right now we have 8 points of burn. It's not going to be enough. It's going to be really hard to get it done. Yeah, I mean that was party hour was time. That was a good experience. So yeah, there was that one, and there was another one I was thinking about, like trying to you do something that was like a small bird wearing like this like giant like set of armor, or like trying to buy a giant set of armor from the like a clothing store or whatever, and just be like, this isn't fit right or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I had like an idea in my mind. I was like, there's got to be something you could do there that would be a good funny t-shirt idea. Yeah, 2 cost Morningstar. That was good times. Man, that draft set initially, especially, that was aggressive. You can't remember how Rakana was brutalized. Brutalized, like, it was again and again and again. Because I mean, like, you had the Elder Feather that went from 1/1 to 1/1 to 1/0. The Paladin nerf was a lot later, but that was another change. Fearless Nomad got changed a couple of times too, I think, if I remember correctly. I mean, I guess it went from common to rare. That was another one. Uncommon. Oh yeah, that was a fun one. People took a while to realize how absurd that was in draft. Because like, there's part of you, especially if you're coming from Magic the Gathering, you're like, oh yeah, auras are bad. And then you're like, well, I get 2 of them, and then flying time fatties is insane. So yeah, it was really good in draft. Also, the Vodakhan staff too. That was also an uncommon. So the 3-faction time decks were really good. After Fire got hit pretty hard for some of these balance adjustments. So all sorts of shit happened. Pyro Knight also had ultimate of 5 before. It was changed to 6, obviously. But yeah, then there was the Gilded Glaive too. That was another one. All sorts of nonsense. All sorts of nonsense. Our boy Kamado fighting the good fight. Not going to be able to keep up with cookbook and card draw and all of that. Like, this is just getting buried by pure card advantage. It's hard to watch. Yeah, no, it was so good. We had all sorts of great cards back then. Surprised that Iliak's not here, just chiming in, telling us all about the indignities that he has suffered over this time. There, of course, there was also the rapid shot. That was a change. Hey, Storm Blessed, my boy. Oh hi. Oh hi, Mark. I missed Torch and Draft. Oh, I don't know if I would agree with that there, friend. Okay. So far, things are pretty uneventful. I do like this attack face here because you just want to draw cards and you don't really care about Use those stuff as just drawing one card. I'm so tempted to just like, I really want to do the ambush, bring in a Black Sky Harbinger, draw a card. Like that feels fancy. Oh no, of course you can't do that, right? Because you don't have a Vara in play. Those are two very different things, Iliac. I would like $1 million. It's not fair to give me $1 million. Like, but I like it. Could we reverse the nerf? Now everybody's like just thinking about that. Like they did one like nerf reversal on the Vara, and now everybody forever is just gonna be like, what if we change it back? What then? I mean, the only reason we have BSH right now is because of this Reanimator deck, and it feels unlikely to stick around intact forever. Call me skeptical, call me superstitious, but I feel like this is a deck that has a good chance. It is under threat of extinction, as a way to put it. In before Iliac comes in and says that the deck is totally fine and that he doesn't want anything to happen to it ever. So Stormblessed, so far plays are correct. You know, plays the 2-drop on turn 2. Iliac is always just like, there's always the tools to play against it. So I mean, I'm definitely not going to say like for sure that it should be changed. We definitely need more time for it. Don't get me wrong, but it's definitely the kind of deck that Direwolf Digital is going to watch very closely, is a way to put it. I don't think that this deck is hilariously weak compared to the previous versions. I think that, I mean, like decks today are way more powerful. You hate BSH in this deck. This BSH in this deck is absurd. It's so good because you get to draw cards the turn you play it, and like fixes your aggro matchup. You single-handedly in some cases. Elsewhere. Okay, you... I didn't understand... Yes, he means magic. Okay, like, for a standard level magic deck, like, comparatively speaking, this deck is very powerful. Like comparing to Legacy and Modern, it's just not a realistic, thing. Like, there's just, like, different leagues. It's like, okay, well, like this car, this car is like, it's pretty fast. It goes pretty fast. Like, well, it's not a fucking jet plane. It's not just it doesn't go like Mach 5, guys. Come on. Necropotence and Eternal. Fox speaks the truth. It's like, no, this is like, it can't travel in outer space. It's just not nearly fast enough. So relatively speaking, this Lamborghini is not a fast car. I want Black Lotus. Why can't we have all of the cards? Like let's just give it like Innervate. Let's get Black Lotus. What are some other good busted ones in there? Necropotence. Yeah, we can get that in there too. I don't see what could possibly go wrong. you came in a good time, Barizo, and just yelling at Iliac because he wants everything to be super powered all the time and doesn't care what he breaks, because that's how we roll here. We're gonna keep on going though. Get him in on the perfect rant, yeah. Like this, like Reanimator deck is very high power level, relatively speaking. I mean, I like obviously it has some bad matchups. It has A cards that are effective against it, but it is a deck that has a lot of power to it. Isomorphic here, by the way, played this. Okay, that's one that I want to talk about. Banish on the delinquent. King of smarter ideas than I have. I don't know, buddy. Don't know if they're smarter. They're just more forcefully conveyed, possibly. Azindal is a great addition. Azindal is so good in that. Good God Almighty! I think that I'm writing an article on it right now. I think that this Reanimator deck is the tits. I love it. I think that's really, really well built, and Isomorphic really did something special with this deck. But yeah, actually, specifically when I talk about that banish there, what the fuck? I guess there's like no good. The only good target is Observer in the deck, right? Observer, Merchant, rather. So like that's enough. So what was with the banish? Yeah, I think it's absolutely amazing. Good playlist, yeah. That I'm not going to help you with. I cannot focus with background music, so I don't know. Go to. There's this thing I've heard. It's around called Spotify, so check that out. Might have been incorrect. The banish would have been good. Merchant later. I wanted to start getting in for damage, and I want to use my power. I mean, yeah, like I kind of get that. It's just like getting in for the one damage at a time doesn't quite matter for your deck. Like I think that the Isomorphics deck has a little bit better of a shatter beatdown plan than you do. Like you play actual real like manimals that are going to kill people. Yeah, I guess you could kind of say it's like, well, like I'm under a time constraint and need to go aggro. I kind of get that, but just when you only have like it'd be different if you had like three your 1/1s or something like that in a play, but that's just not like you just have one Temple Scribe. Yeah. I just don't think that it's necessarily like enough pressure to matter. Is kind of what I'm saying. Like I get that you want to have pressure there. It's just like you don't substantially increase your pressure doing it at that exact moment. I guess it could be in this like strange series of draws where you just never get a chance to cast it. So like this is in some respects a little bit nitpicky. I know that. I don't know. Like being able to kill a merchant, being able to kill a nocturnal observer can be really important. So like the banish is not a particularly valuable card in the matchup though. Like I will acknowledge that. So just kind of using it, using your power, and staying on plan and on target is yeah. But I mean, like that, like we can follow the game and just say like how much damage he's really gotten in. Like what has he done so far? Like 3. Yeah. I mean, sure, but there's just a 1/1. Like you do damage in like large chunks. That's kind of what I'm saying. I'm fully acknowledging that neither the 1/3 nor the banish are particularly valuable cards. So like anything that goes on there in terms of like slight misuse or slight misvaluation is probably not going to make a big difference in the outcome of the game. I just think that it's that they're I think the banish is a little bit higher value, higher enough value that I think that it's probably going to get do a better job later on in the game. But the loss isn't huge. Oh, hey, another banish. Right on time. Sure, it's useful to have a banish in that situation. I mean, this like you really needed it to like really brick off there in order for it to not matter that much. This part was maddening in terms of the rip, 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 rip. Yeah. Yeah, this bottom, by the way, is very good. This is one that I'll particularly like shout out to. I'm just identifying the fact that this card doesn't actually matter, and it's like, I mean, it's a card that has a lot of stats, and you know, it's powerful, but it's just not what the game is about right now. So that bottom, it like even like obviously from this position, it looks pretty good, but I think that that was a really good choice, because you getting to something like this Tizo's office was so necessary in order to, because like for instance, if the Varo was in play right now, game's over. Game is now done. The game is finished. Yeah, I mean they're going to, but it's also something that like it's a lot easier to do that when you're not the one who's in the play, because like for you it's like this is, you know, this is a threat. I need threats. I need to kill them, you know, for that. And so it's like that drive is going to be a lot more powerful than I think for you than it is for observers. So, but like it's still like not an easy call. And I think that's also something too that like Lights Out Ace was one of the ones who was like particularly emphatic early on, saying like he needs the bot in this. This is, you know, like not a time for just beaters. We need a removal spell. We need to get Var off the table. And like once he starts doing that, then everybody else is going to be like figure out the logic. I think that'll be part of the reason that the chat is going to move in that direction too. So that's always like a thing that's an element of the milieu that causes that sort of you know, way that the group thing moves in that direction. So I think that that's one of a very good play that we saw in the top 8 there. We are going to skip ahead. Huzzah. Yeah, there's also that too. Yeah, I mean, basically, there's also there's lots of things like that. Twiddles, yeah, like Twiddles is totally right, and there's a lot of reasons why Chad is going to get that right more often than you will in that position. Your really good plays coming up, though. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. Are we going? Are we continuing to move? Yeah, we're moving very slowly. Twitch VODs continuing to be. Okay. Suffocate. Yeah. I'm. By the way, so Avignon's deck, by the way, I would generally say I'm not a. I think that it is. I stumped for a bit for a second. Yeah, that happens sometimes. I think that their version of the deck is good, given the fact that Reanimator is a thing. Because if I'm correct, they're playing multiple copies of. They're playing the Harsh Rolls main deck, like a playset of them, which you just kind of need if you're playing against a Reanimator heavy field. So I don't know how much they ran into that, or these big time decks. I found that play like a little bit interesting. I guess that they called the fact that you would have the temple, because if you play the Riz on there into kill the 2/2, if they kill the Risen in there into kill the 2/2, and then you temple them, you are just like miles ahead of this. Yeah, most FGS decks. I think that the time is for a Harsh Rule to come back is a good way to put it. Waiting on you to attack before playing the display, though, is curious, suspicious, strange. I don't know what else to say is bad. Because like your deck is very power hungry. Yeah, Rizon is definitely still solid as well. There is no universe. There is no universe where it is correct to play to order things that way. We need to talk about this. We need to talk about this. Oh my god, that's so bad. I gotta run this back. I need to double check that I saw that correctly because this is like fucking egregious. I mean, this is wrong. But this is just a run of the mill mistake, though. This is wrong. Okay. Yeah, it is as bad as I thought it was. We're gonna watch it. Okay. So we had the treasure. We have the power in hand. Oh, okay. So we're not gonna go to 7 for it. So yeah, yeah. Just get the talk taking. Go back to the game. Yeah, I mean, like at least it wasn't for Diesel's office power. He didn't quite have enough for that. It's. I mean, like I'm kind of exaggerating a little bit, for it. Now that I think of it, it's wrong. It's wrong though, because you shouldn't. The obviously he's trying to. Are you going to skip over the misplay? Oh yeah, I know that the chat like lost their mind over that was definitely a misplay as well. Like that one's all like also kind of minor. I mean, these are all like I think these are all tiny leaks. So that it's more at the level of yeah, you should have been the torch first. Yeah. And I know that the chat like jumped all over that. That was something I caught too. But the part of it with each of these technical play leaks is that overall strategy is oftentimes more important than the small technical play leaks. I think that Avignon's overall strategy was decent from the stuff that I saw. So I like seeing chat on my side at least. Yeah, not trying first was strange. Yeah, I mean like the logic is I don't want to hit power, so I'm gonna thin my deck of power. Just like the logic there of the chances of drawing a power that I would have got out of my deck with the Lost Scroll is very low, and the chances that the power that I have access to in my hand matters is much higher. So it's definitely incorrect. Like for instance, you could go show into like treasure trove and draw another show, treasure trove into slay. Like there's many options like this I can come up with. Yeah, I mean, chat finds lots of ways to hate on people, so it's one of their specialties. Just consistently good at finding ways to shit on people's lives. This is a very good end of the story right there. I'm not usually big. I'm definitely kind of skeptical on end of the story into a market like this, but it works. What did you have access to in your market at that point? Or do you have anything else that was a threat other than the Dark Return? Their Stormblast? Yeah, exactly. Thinning is not like he was thinning, clearly. What was in your market at that point? Because I know you've accessed your market a couple times by now. Let's see what he has. Okay. This is your void. Oh, I shouldn't have played the Vara. You played the Vara into the end of the story. Yeah, because you played just like savagely into Harsh Rule. Sure. Yeah, no, that was a hard agree. That was wrong. Especially given the fact that he is playing the play set of the harsh rolls in the main deck and the end of the story in the market. Like your chances of getting swept there are pretty high. I don't know what's in Avigno's void right now, but I find it hard to believe that was that good of a play. I mean, I guess it would be possible to get like a banish and then have your Diesel's office attack. I just don't think that getting Diesel itself is that important. Like, the thing for me with Diesel's office is if you get the scheme and the cut ties, you're pretty happy. Then the rest of it is more about contorting your opponent's play. Like, just having the threat of the Diesel. Like, they want to avoid you getting the Diesel if they can, because it's just free value. But it's not like it's really so important that Diesel can't hit the table. That's my read on it anyway. That's my experiences with it. Especially with a deck like this that you'll never sacrifice something to get the Cabal plan or whatever it's called. Like, unless I guess you have a Temple Scribe that is out. Like, sure, that can happen sometimes, but... Yeah, no, it's definitely great. It's like, don't get me wrong, it definitely, like, it's decent to have around. It's just not a super important. Like, if you get both of the cut ties plus scheme, like, you're usually, and can sort your opponent's play at all, you're usually pretty happy. So playing the especially since you have like it as a fast spell too, I guess just like drawing a card is a bit annoying. I don't know. Hard to be salty considering my good luck in topping again against Isa. Yeah, I mean, top decking happens. Zenith Augury? Show, like, we need to have a conversation about this card, guys. We need to talk. It's like we need to just call a spade a spade. This card is not. It shouldn't be here. It should not be here. It is really fucking good. I am just like more and more every day being like, the treasure just needs to cost 3. Right? Like, I would love somebody to just defend this still after all of this time, that the treasure shouldn't cost 3. Or something. Jesus, I don't know. Because it's just way too good. It's just like it's so good, yeah. Wouldn't it be unplayable though? I don't think it would be unplayable in that if it cost 3. I'd have to test it, but you definitely would have to put some more effort into it. It's just so free. I'm saying, yeah, like, Show could be a 1/1 flyer for 7, and I think that it still sees play. Assuming that has the ultimate text too. For it, I think that it still sees play. I don't know if it doesn't have the ultimate text, if it still sees play. It could definitely cost as much as like 9 and still see play with the similar text and such for it and stats. The big thing is, yeah, it's the 2 mana wisdom thing, and the interaction with merchants. The interaction with merchants is bananas. Like, for instance, it's basically what allows the Sunnyvale Genève deck to operate, to function. Combined with merchants brings it all the top of me. Yeah, that's basically where I am with it. And that's part of the reason why I think that the only thing that it just seems to make the most sense is make the treasure cost 3. Or you could have it like the treasure cost like double fire. That could help. Not going to. Oh, you just didn't attack with it? Oh yeah, into a defiance. That's pretty legit. I like it. You just soul right in for the defiance. Here I am just ranting about fucking show. I mean, show is a card that is worth ranting about. So I'm sorry, Stormbus. You deserve better respect than this. But show is just like it's like if it weren't for we've shown as a community that we can build it's about many voices, Dave. So we've shown that we can build show decks that don't die just full to aggro decks. Like we can do that. It's just more a question of I'm just misplaying like a maniac this time. Yeah, we'll be nice to Avion. We'll just credit it to a long day. Maybe it's like it looks like a name that might be French. Maybe it's a very late night here for Avignon. So it happens. It happens. Yeah, well, especially when they have the 0 cost Defiance, it feels hard to get around that. Food for thought. What's the food for? Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Med hashtag. Yeah, sure. I mean, like, yeah, Torch is definitely a good card too, but it's a very different thing. Very different experience. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, you of course can't play around the 0 cost Defiance. Like that's just not it. Oh, this no attack is sick. What? Wait. Our friend Avignon here played a 0 cost Defiance when they had a 1 cost Defiance in hand. Avignon, if you see this, congratulations on your qualification for the ECQ. I'll just put it that way. Congratulations. I mean, we all make mistakes. Congratulations. Yeah. Oh yeah, you see that and you're like, what? I guess they don't have Defiance. Just not playing into it again and again and again. You just calling it. I love it. The pauses is still there, so. Yeah, there were ways for Avignon to play this game just way better. Jesus Christ. yeah. He earned it. I mean, the thing is, at the end of the day, like, it's about wins and losses at the end of the day, right? There's nothing wrong with this. I don't begrudge anybody for it. It's fine for it, but man, geez, those plays. Finally, the 4/4 takes it. Defiance number 17 of the game. Cut ties at Temple Scribe. Coward. I mean, that's also kind of like what his deck does, though, right? Like, I mean, here, like, this is like playing into that threaten. It's also pretty bad. God Almighty. It was Defiance number 17, Rodar. 18, 19. But yeah, he played the Dizos office as a scheme slash draw like gain for. As a Xenon 7 cost uh Xenon Augury. That's a lot. These draws that he's had are tight. It's gonna be a pretty good Mars Chains game too. This is worth thinking about because I think that this is not an easy play. But not hard to believe that that was the correct line there. Send back the torch for something else, right? You think torching the Temple Scribe was really good? Why? In case you play the like an Azindel or something? Do you even play Azindel? What's so good about it? Because I feel like you just send it back to the market. We got a follow. Thank you very much, whoever that is. It'll show up on the screen in just a moment, and I will be able to see. Oh, Extortion's theme. Yes, okay, that is good. You're right. I didn't see who it was, but somebody followed, and it was excellent of you to do so. Speaking of which, I'm also almost up to 200 followers, and I would love it to pass that number by the end of the night, just to go check in on what the overall number is. Now, Tuvara is just Vara and Tuvara and Tuvara. Yeah, the ambition, all that. They're just going to like overpower you. You have Praxis Arcanum in hand, which is a really bad card. Wait, I didn't say that. 197. Just 3 more, it seems like I need. So I would appreciate that if there are any of you who have them to spare. So that was, I mean, yeah, that was hard to watch. That was a lot. Yeah, I would definitely agree that they were that Avignon's top decks were a hair better than yours, just a smidge. But yeah, like I know I keep on saying this, but like most people still win this game. Yeah, where a Shrine or guess. I'm giving you shit, obviously, at this point. I do commit that I will what up, Casey? Very lovely to see you. Here we are going through the ECQ stream, following it. Auric Bond, thank you so much for following on this number 198, almost over that 200. In your deck, yeah, you do put it in your deck, and it has the possibility of just doing nothing. Sometimes, like it does nothing when you top deck in the late game. So you have no one to blame but yourself. Clearly, is what we're saying. Yeah, we're just going right into the finals right now. GT 100 versus Avignon. Scrappy hour. This is wait. Oh no. This is GT 100 versus that. Okay, we can go do all the semifinals one. I did not know this. So we are going to. I know the GT 100 gets to the finals as well. So this is what the kappa there is for, Storm. Learn to kappa, as they say, as the kids say. They say that, right? They say that exact line. I didn't realize that Julius got this far. His version of the deck seems okay. I'm not crazy about it. I think the Sunnyvale's version is the best I've seen so far. I guess this is pretty close to the Sunnyvale's version. Maybe just the difference in terms of what merchants that he's using. Oh yeah, I wouldn't watch it either. I would just I wouldn't want to either. I would just peace out at that point and be like, you know what, I'm off it. See, I had the best you know, I think I had the second best result possible. Either you get into the finals, in which case you qualify, or you lose immediately and you get your entire afternoon back. So I had the second best result. Is really what I'm saying. Yeah, I think that Sunnyvale's this deck that we're seeing right now is pretty close to Sunnyvale's deck. I'm not saying that he got it from Sunnyvale. I don't know where he got it from. It has some similarities though. Playing the Caleb's Choice is also a really big improvement against specifically the Reanimator decks. I think that it's makes a really big difference in that matchup. Yeah, $500 is nice. I would definitely take $500. If someone wanted to give me that, I would accept. Stormblast, are you on a team? I'm just curious. I don't actually know. You know, because if you don't write for a website, like you can always put it up on Ace Space Games. I even have an editor. I can get some nice, pretty pictures in there. Would love to have your deck tag up on our site. Game 2. Aha. Well, you found me. Yes, hit me up in Discord. We'll talk about it off air kind of thing. But definitely, if he wants to, we can discuss what that is involved there. What do we get from the market here? If it's just the downpour. Downpour is always going to be pretty good against Granadins, right? Sounds good. Yeah, good. And so Julius won game 1. So that means GT's going to have to get out of this. This is a pretty bad hand. I'm interested to see how this turns out. No, Madness Combust does a lot, of course. Good old Madness Combust. Just bailing people out. Kind of missed that. Were you on Peaks? I was on Windchest. My Windchest deck was checked in such a way that it folded like a paper, like just like the thinnest, wettest paper you've ever seen. It just crumbled in the face of the Reanimator deck, which I didn't know existed, and then I played against it in round 1 of the top 64. So yeah. Vara's choice seems reasonable right now. Especially since, like, yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, it was an interesting experience. I was testing the matchup on stream on Saturday night. I was testing a bunch of different things. First, I had Reckoner playing. If you use the boards to mark progress as far as 18, I mean match or beat. Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice showing. Yeah, I was happy to make the top 64. It's like one of my first times in a long time like taking seriously a competition like this, so it was pretty. I was pretty happy with how things went, all things considered. But at the same time, I was like, I really would have liked to win. But yeah, it was a. It wasn't. I didn't respect it. So Reckoner and I were testing on Saturday night for it. He didn't really know the deck very well. And I was kind of like, oh, this doesn't seem like that bad of a matchup. That, you know, as long as I get my tune, I can usually disrupt it. I have a couple of copies of Maiden, and those are kind of a free win. And then, like, if Iliak is still around, he'll attest to this. We tested the matchup on the Sunday morning right before the event, and he had actually been playing the deck a little bit and had tested it, and he just bodied me. We played like 5 games in a row and crushed me. And then late in the actual event, the things turned out roughly what I expected based on my testing that morning. And then was a little bit salty about that for a little while. And then ever since then, I've been playing Reanimator myself. This is how things went. Hoping to have an article out on that subject Thursday-ish. Yeah, I think that it's definitely a matchup where it's important to kind of know what you're doing, because there's definitely some elements to, especially like managing, you know, going to the market, managing your grasping at shadows, that it's really useful to know that well. This hand is very slow on the side of Julius. Very slow and ponderous inside of GT. It doesn't look that fast either, so. Yeah, I mean, open deck lists, there are definitely some decks that do better or some do worse. Clearly, the Reanimator decks take a big hit from this, because you know, you're going to keep very different hands, and you know you're against specifically Reanimator. Any like hyperlinear strategy like that. Yeah, I think that for Stormblitz, I think that there's not a ton of like really effective hate cards that people can like, you know, redraw for example, and like the speed of your deck is like neither fast nor slow, so it's going to get hard to like really target it. Like yours is very truly mid range compared to a lot of other you know, mid range decks that we have right now, which are kind of like very controlling oriented. Like the Genev decks and the Winchester decks are pretty like are the closest that we get to control for the most part. So that those ones are a little bit easier to really you know, take answer and create a plan around. So yeah, I can see how I think that you probably would benefit more than the others. This power base is actually getting to hurt the Genev deck finally. Justice and all of that. Also, these here Grenoman are gonna come do some damage. True mid range for the win. I would not describe that being the experience of what I've seen in the ladder recently. the true mid range winning a lot. I still have to like. Now I'm committed to playing fucking Praxis Arcanum on stream. God almighty. It's not a good deck. Not a good card, rather. The deck could be fine. Probably be improved by the lack of Arcanum. But we'll see. We'll see. I look forward to testing it. I do actually. Yeah, man. I have to now. Maybe I hope I'm wrong. For my own sake. I don't think that. I think that you're supposed to play the show there. Why did you not play the show? Were you just that afraid of madness? Because like trying to battle through the ground is just always going to be such a grueling task. Madness mind game. Yeah, madness mind game is something that people like just get gripped by. They just say like, "No, I will never play into madness, no matter what." Feels bad, Prakalackin. I was playing Winchest without Gavel or main deck Hearts Rule against round one Reanimator. So that was my experience. See, like you see how effective these ground attacks are on Julius's side. Like you see how much you're accomplishing. Yeah, if you're murdering a scrapper, something's gone horribly wrong. Yeah, that would be fun. Just totally fuck with somebody. Ouch. Just just you beat this person, you know, in a that I guess that maybe they were afraid that you were going to tilt off on them. Maybe they read you for as like, nah, this is a salty motherfucker. He's gonna come in here and diss me and tell me how bad my plays were. That's exactly how it's gonna work out. He just reads you. That's the kind of guy you are. Finals time, ladies and gentlemen. We are nearing the very end, which is exciting. And once again, I would really appreciate just a last. If your friends slots are so limited, only the 100. Yeah, and I would love to get to that 200 followers by the end of the stream. That'd be really, really cool. So just a couple more. I'm at 198 right now. So if you are somebody who isn't following the stream, I would appreciate that. That'd be really cool. But we're going to get right into this game. I'll try and pay attention to this more. I mean, I've been interacting with the chat a lot, which is a lot of fun. I love discussing all of this, but this is the finals. So try my best to keep focus. That's a lot of witching hours in GT's hand. In like two is definitely a lot. Cookbook, interesting. I'm trying to think of like. Let me actually stop that. Let me stop here. I'm curious now because I need to take a look at old Avignon's. That looks like we did get a follow right there. Thank you to whoever that was. Not seeing it quite. It just takes a few moments for it to catch up on the stream, and then I can tell you how much I appreciate you. Storm Blessed. Thank you so much. Here I am talking with you all night long, and you hadn't even followed me, you bastard. You bastard. Cauldron, Tomb, end of the story, Martyr's Chains, Boar. I think that I don't know how I feel about the blind cookbook there. Because both Tomb and End of the Stories have their own reasons to be appealing. In the nature of this game, like you already have the harsh rule. Do you need both harsh rule and that you'll never be able to protect a tomb? Looks like we got the other the other follow here. Do we make it? We made it to the big 200. We did. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Auric Ulvin. Greatly appreciated. I just thought it was older thing. Well, I am now. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun hanging with you tonight. For and getting your insights on the deck. I clearly enjoy discussing all of this. So it's been good. Yeah. Okay. So I think the cookbook is right. The more that I think about it, it's a hard one. This is a kind of a grindy matchup. 200 followers, yeah, buddy, we did it. So having access to that will help you going into the late game, which is kind of where you need things to go. 201, it sounds like now. Very cool. So let's continue on. I just wanted to check that because I thought that was an interesting kind of decision moment. Wodar, thank you so much for the follow. This game is going to be very slow. These Grenadin are just going to do just so much damage. I would have torched one of these Grenadin a while ago, by the way. Because also GT now like fully knows that he just doesn't have to do anything. Yeah. I think that it's definitely correct. I thought about it, but it's definitely correct. But like also, by the way, like this was the cost of not torching one of the Grenadins earlier. Like taking 2 damage a turn versus 3 damage a turn is a pretty big difference. So like over like whatever that was, like it was like 3 or 4 damage that it cost him, something like this. Especially with double torch, like his only torch is getting a better. I guess you have scrap tanks specifically, but scrap like I would feel much better about scrap like harsher than a scrap tank than something like that. Yeah, I don't like that play for sure, especially when you had other options. You had this Rizon in hand too. You just buy a couple extra turns. You kind of want the game to like go in such a way where they just have like this awkward amount of Grenadins in play, like 2. Where it's like, well, there's pressure, but not a lot. That kind of gives you the time to set up. Harsh rule number 3 and end of the story. So we are deep into just like all of the resources. Wow. This has gone on. Wait a fucking moment. There is no universe where that is correct. Right? Rizon, it has lifesteal. I'm pretty positive that it's got the lifesteal right now. Because I know it has the lifesteal right now. I don't know if it was before the sabotage. But, yeah, I mean, I guess it's probably the Madness Paranoia again. That's what did it, right? But they need to have, like, one... Your opponent, you empty their hand and can protect it. It's fine. Yeah, okay, sure. So you can say that just to hit a Madison hand. And... I guess that the tomb is not that relevant. The tomb is something that you can give up, and then the way that you lose the game is something like getting Madness devoured from here. It's hyper conservative. It's really, really conservative. You can double torch here to defend it. It's okay. But I mean, like if he had another hour or Gear Cruncher, he would have played it the previous turn. Like if he had if he had the only things that he's hitting there is going to like 1000% be Madness. Like name another card that is in his hand at that point that you can hit with Sabotage. Oh wait, like it's not. It's because if it was an hour, you're going to play it out there. Because his turn was Assembly Line Pass. But like you're not gonna like so you would say that in that position you have an assembly line in hand after 3 harsh rules and an end of the story, and you have assembly line in hand and you have witching hour in hand. You say that you play assembly line pass when you know that your opponent probably has Tomb in hand. Like I just think that that's wrong. Like I could see witching hour pass, keep the assembly line. Maybe that you can get over the line. Yeah, okay. You play hour, like right. So it's only Madness. It's only Madness that you're playing around. Yeah, I mean it's like it's okay. I think that either one of them is defensible. Like one of them you can say is like, well, like plays better around Madness plus a top deck effect of some description. The other one like gets you a bit more life, so it's kind of fine. I personally combust you, yeah. I mean, I think the torture should have been used much earlier as part of my issue with it. So I think that you're. I don't know. These Rizons are very good here. Teaser's Office is also very good here. Marsh is an active, but you can also just play out the Merchant and hold up Defiance. Well, that's true. So you can also do that. Yeah, I think I like Defiance here. Grab Defiance. I guess you also have the protection here. The issue is that if your opponent has a removal spell, you're kind of in a lot of trouble. Because like if they combust you here, if they combust the Elias, then you take a bunch of damage. You like chains? Chains I can see too. But yeah, part of the reason is that though like it's just slow. I think the Defiance would have done most of the same stuff, cost a lot less. That was a fairly interesting game. Yeah, there are a few decision points that I thought were close. Yeah, you're 26 at this point, so it's a lot harder. So I think that like at that point, I actually do get the defiance, because the only way for you to get back your opponent to get back in the game is killing your Riz on. No, I'm not sure. It's a little bit too late for me to know for sure. Is a good way to put it. It's been a long day. Been a long stream. It's been good. I've been having fun with it. Got started late too. But yes, it's a little bit too late for me to know for sure. Some interesting decisions, though, at the very least. That's what I'm doing this for, right? I get these interesting moments. I love just popping off the Devour there, just knowing what you're about. Here, I think you know that your opponent has, in the past, aggressively harsh ruled. Well, glad you enjoy it, Stormblast. Yeah, no, I try to offer something a little bit different than what some other people, do in their streams. You have something that's a like slight different approach to the content creation and stuff, because I do really enjoy it, obviously. Looks like GT is getting all of this like chip damage, annoying value bullshit in there, pushing Avignon out of the game. I do like the GT. Like, one of the things with it that he has been, for power lingering of us. I think that one of the things that GT's been particularly good at in this matchup is like figuring out where his opponent's line is of what is considered enough pressure to trigger a harsh rule, for example. Because like there's just been a bunch of times when his opponent fires off a harsh rule over like a relatively small board, and that makes that really makes your game a lot better. Like, and things like this too. Just getting that cut ties. Like, I find it really hard to believe that cut ties was correct. Like, you gotta. I mean, I guess it's kind of the same whether you're scheming now or next turn. The only issue in my mind is just kind of time walking your opponent if we're able to play something like the Gear Cruncher. I mean, it's not that big of a difference. Well, that was wrong. What was wrong? What was the wrongness? What was the wrong thing? Cut ties on it's the office, so then merchant for one, right? The cut ties, yeah. I don't like the cut ties. It was. Yeah, I think that it doesn't. It wouldn't have made that big of a difference in that. Could not merchant for office. Yeah, no, you couldn't merchant for office, right? I don't know, unless you went into it earlier in the game. Yeah, GT played very, very tight for what I saw. Yeah, we're gonna keep going. That was just game 2, but yeah, like scheming there. A couple of just the same amount, but it kind of time walks your opponent from playing something like a scrap tank or a scrapper, or a lot of things. Particularly Gear Cruncher, you lose to either way. You put it back earlier? Okay. I did not notice that. Yeah, you can kind of tell though that Avignon's approach to the matchup feels a little bit like kind of responding to shit as it happens, not like a clearly thought out. This is how I view the. This is my theory of the matchup. He doesn't have a theory of the matchup, which is fine in certain situations, but you can tell that GT has a very clear theory of the matchup, and that shows. And especially when it's a matchup like this, that's a little bit strange in that GT kind of feels like maybe hard, but I'm not super hot on Office in FJS. 11. So I think that specifically right now, I don't know. FJS has a lot of work to do right now in terms of where it needs to go, because it used to be that the format was a little bit more closed off, and in terms of, I guess, the close off, it was pretty open, but it still felt like it functioned under fairly consistent rules. Like there were some aggressive decks, there were a bunch of these mid-rangey, value heavy kind of decks like Genev and Winchest, or other peaks decks. No true control decks and no combo decks that were like good enough to be worried about. So in that universe, then not having like you kind of could consistently build your deck in a way to beat that kind of stuff. Like you had a I like my build, went super greedy. What were you playing, Dunkel? Were you on Winchest? Because I was on Winchest. I was playing a build that came originally from Lights Out Ace. I got it from Lights Out Ace. I think he got it from somebody else. And it was very, very solid. Winchest. So like I was not playing the harsh rules. I wasn't playing the gavel. Like those kinds of things, which are pretty much non-starters now. To loot. Yeah, I mean, I can see that in that metagame where we were like just a couple days ago. But this weekend shook things up a lot, and I think that there's still enough in that area to build a tier 1 deck, but I think that it'll take a week or two to learn about, for instance, how deep do you have to go into the hate cards, how do you build your deck if you are playing for harsh rules, for example, in the main deck. Yeah, it shifted dramatically over the weekend, very clearly. Like just things like the presence of the reanimator deck that before it was not really seriously considered, and now it's very clearly a at least tier 1.5 archetype, if not tier 1. It just makes a huge difference. And then like also Highway somehow vanishing overnight. Like there's lots of weird shit that's going on. So it'll take a while to kind of comb through what all that means. There really are a lot of important differences, like things like the exact composition. I tried for a book, a lost one display, one show. Like FGS has like their market is really, really good, but they also rely on it so heavily. Like their main deck is so built around like we're just going to do a little bit of everything, and we're going to do it like reasonably well, but not like super fast. And then their market is just this important part to like shore up all of their holes. I mean, book is great in the mirror sometimes, especially when you're on the harsh rule version of the deck, because you can just say it's like, okay, we're actually just going to play the mirror, but I'm a control deck, and you're going to have to trade me the aggro. Now it does kind of fuck with your merchanting decisions a touch, but yeah, I mean, we talked about show earlier. Show is something else. Show is an experience. I mean, when you can just play 8 merchants and 4 show, and that just does everything you want, plus you get a fucking monster as your top end, you don't randomly die to firebombs, like, what are you doing?
and it costs 2 in this instead of 3 to draw your extra cards. Oh yeah, I mean the power level jump between set 4 and set 5, like Defiance was a very powerful set. I don't think that people like fully appreciate how much the average power level of decks like spiked in the last bit. Like I think that you look at it, for instance, comparing just Haunted Highway. Haunted Highway stayed exactly the same. The deck did not change between the two formats. The rest of the format basically just adjusted around it, and the deck feels much worse than it did in the previous format. That's because everything is much more powerful. We're aiming for 12 merchants and even more Ecovate decks. I mean, like, I find it, and a lot of people are, like, seem to be assuming that it's kind of a lock that we're going to be getting merchants of the other faction combinations in the next set. I wouldn't say that that's a one. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a hard deck for it to change. I'm more saying in the sense of like the relative power level of the other stuff, like just kind of like judging it from a raw power level perspective. Like Haunted Highway felt like it was a step above the rest in the previous one. The format, like there were other decks that were doing interesting-ish things. Like don't get me wrong, like Winchest back then was still a perfectly fine deck to play, but I just consistently felt like the Haunted Highway deck was better than what anybody else was doing at a pure raw power level perspective. And now it feels like it's much more evenly matched from that. So I mean, maybe that's like a weird, like super subjective view on the subject. I don't know if that actually like holds resonance for anybody else, but like that's how I kind of feel like the format has evolved. I agree. From Dunkelwork. Thank you. So yeah, but anyway, I think that this tournament was very interesting. There's a lot that we're going to see in the next couple of days, and in the upcoming weeks of what will happen with the format. There's a lot of work left to be done for it, but that's pretty exciting stuff. That'll be it for the stream, though. My personal view, HPUs were also very strong. Yeah, that is definitely part of it too. The people who like, really went hard on the deck, like GHP, the Overmaster. I mean, there's a bunch of you guys, have your own favorite pilots of the deck. That all match people up with it. That made a big difference of it too. But just like the deck as a whole, like when you actually like watch the cards operate, you realize like, wow, this just can do busted shit. And it's just that power level gap is just much smaller than it was before. Yeah. I mean, I saw him do some good ones. I just recognize him as somebody who plays a lot of the deck. And had been impressed with his play at some points with it. So maybe you've seen some stuff that I haven't. But I guess Paradox he was also one who had a good run with it in one of the events. I know that I did it in one of the Games of the Week episodes that I did, and then kind of like shat on his play because he missed lethal like 5 turns in a row. That was good. It can be earned. People think that it just can't be earned, but it can be earned. Yeah, like I understand there's a kappa in there, but an implied kappa. Yeah, trash talking. Yeah, cool. Okay, well, yeah, that'll be it for today, guys. A lot of fun. This is a great stream. Thank you so much for everyone stopping by. But I am pooched. But this was fantastic. I learned a lot. I hope that you guys learned a lot, and it was lovely getting to know all of you much more. This is something that I also do like basically every week now, for both the ETS and the ECQ when it comes up. Yeah, peace fam. So let's see who else is around.